Hello and welcome to the City of London. We're here at Hiscox Insurance, right in the heart of the city as part of the Insure Our Survival campaign. What we have going on here is an occupation from the Christian climate activists. So they've come in to the heart of the insurance agency as part of this week-long campaign that is looking at the fact that the weak point in the fossil fuel industry is that all of their activities need to be insured. And our demand is that insurance companies should stop enabling fossil fuels to be able to operate. So the fossil fuel companies aren't looking to try to curb their activities anytime soon, but insurance cover their risks. And so our demand is insurance companies stop covering their risks, make it impossible for them. Do not insure any new oil and gas projects. And so these wonderful rebels are in there occupying, talking to the different workers who were there, talking to them about actually the power that each individual has to speak up for the need for climate action, particularly with the insurance industry. So this is a part of a week of activities where Extinction Rebellion is on the streets. It's following on from activities in February of last year, the Insure Our Future campaign. So this is Insure Our Survival. Stick with us because there's going to be a lot more coming, a whole week of excitement for you, both in London and out in the different regions and nations of the UK.
Hi, who are you and what are you doing here?
My name is Melanie and I'm part of Christian Climate Action, which is part of the Extinction Rebellion Faith Bridge. And we're here with a group of other faiths. We've got some Buddhists and someone of Jewish and other faiths. We're here to protest Hiscox, who haven't ruled out insuring the East Africa crude oil pipeline. And we think that it's a matter of justice that companies do not insure fossil fuel projects that contribute to global warming and to the climate change that is desperately affecting people in places like East Africa.
So what is the East Africa ECOP? What is that?
ECOP. The East Africa crude oil pipeline is taking oil, which is a particular type of oil that needs a heated pipeline, across from East Africa to the coast. There's going to be a big port built in, I think, Tanzania. And what it's doing is displacing local communities along its way. So not only is there an impact on people because of the issues about leaking oil and the prospective pollution, but they're actually taking their land and driving them off it. Now, they promised compensation, but there are two problems with that. One is they're not paying it, and secondly, it actually just drives people to the cities. These are people who have farmed this land for more than generations. It's their way of life, their cultural way of life, and they're just being compulsorily repossessed for this project, which will not benefit them at all. So it really is one of the deepest injustices. Not only are they caught by the global warming, which is causing droughts and flooding where they live, but they're also just losing their way of life. And we think, both from a faith perspective, but from any moral perspective in this world, that is wrong.
So you're targeting insurance company because they're insuring the companies who are part of the ECOP setup.
They are still, as far as we know, considering insuring them, and they haven't ruled it out, and that, I think, is a big problem, because if they ruled it out, firstly, it would mean that there would be a lack of finance security for these operations, but also they'd be sending a clear message to other insurers that this is not the right thing to do. But the big thing we know is that fossil fuel projects can't go ahead without insurance. And so if they decline to insure it, that would leave others to carry the risk. They'd be less likely to, and these projects just wouldn't go ahead.
Okay, thank you for your time.
So, yeah.
So what brings you out here on a cold October day in London?
Well, I'm Sue, and I'm an Anglican priest, and I'm part of Christian Climate Action. And in my old age, I'm 82, I believe that the best thing I can do with my life is give myself to do whatever I can to confront the climate catastrophe. And that means confronting the fossil fuel industry that is the evil part of our society now, and of course the insurance companies and the banks that fund the fossil fuel industry, governments that allow themselves to be make policies that favor the fossil fuel industry, all of that. All this is bringing us, humanity and the other creatures, to near extinction. And so, for the sake of future generations and the sake of the global south now, and many other parts of the world, like rich America, that are suffering from the climate crisis now, I must do all that I can to sound the alarm, to get people to wake up. And whatever I have to do, I must do it.
Thank you.
Train.
And you just have to stick your head around the corner and just see this gorgeous place.
Good morning, how are you? What are you doing here this
we're
morning?
outside this building because Hiscox are inside and they're still insuring oil and gas projects. They've recently insured, I think it's 5 LNG terminals on the US coast, and we just think that's a little bit crazy right now. Why are they still doing it? Just trying to eke out that last bit of money, those last pound signs, as clearly the oil and gas industry will be gone in a few years' time. So why don't Hiscox find some new industries to insure and not just try and extract these last few pennies out of this one? That's my view anyway.
Excellent. Thank you very much for what you're doing.
Cheers.
Hello, I'm Mary and I'm here today in the lobby of an insurance company. The reason is that every business needs insurance and the oil industry is no different. Insurers are the facilitators of climate breakdown through facilitating the extraction of ever more coal and gas, which is destroying the environment and killing the biosphere. This is a very important link in the chain of environmental destruction, and we're going to carry on protesting like this until every insurance company in Britain stops insuring climate destruction.
My name's Phil, I'm a retired engineer and I'm here in the lobby of 22 Bishopsgate to protest at the role the insurance industry is playing facilitating extraction of yet more fossil fuels and yet more fossil fuel industry, such as where they carry out insurance and also where they invest their money, but they're also investing in fossil fuel industries, and remove it to ethical investors, people who announce that they're not going to insure econ or any of the other projects that are killing our world. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Stephen and I'm here because I'm very concerned about climate change and what it will do to my child and other children and future generations. and insurance companies have a big role to play in the fossil fuel industry. Fossil fuel concerns can't go unless they have the backing of insurance. And last time when Insure Our Futures went to
or not, they still need insurance. So all around the world, dirty oil, gas, coal expansion projects and companies come here to the City of London and talk to the insurers here in the City of London because they need insurance for their project or they can't do it. Anything that gets dug up or extracted, it needs insurance. So we're here today to tell them no longer, there's no future for oil, gas and coal, and there's definitely this is not the time for oil, gas and coal expansion. There's 100...
Sure, have the tower behind me. Okay, here we are now. This has been a really exciting...
Our group. So yeah, I'm here with everyone else to try and stop insurance companies insuring our fossil fuels, and we want to ensure our survival.
That's absolutely brilliant. So have you come with a group of people?
Yes, there's a group of probably about a dozen of us, I think. Hopefully, we haven't all met up yet, but I think there's quite a few of us around. A few of them are drumming. So yeah, it's a good crowd of us.
That's great. And did you coordinate your costumes?
No, there's all various. In fact, there's one lady who has a designed jacket with bits of poo on and things, which is worth seeing. So try and look out for her.
That feels very, very relevant because we're obviously having all the problems with pollution in the sewage in the rivers, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. I mean, she comes from Hitchin, where they had flooding there and they had a lot of sewage which was going into people's gardens, which is absolutely disgusting. So, we just want to try and make insurance companies see sense. It just makes no business sense to be insuring fossil fuels because that's just expediting the problem. So it's absolutely crazy what they're doing. So we just want to try and make them see sense.
Yeah. I mean, the crazy thing is we all know what's coming for us and we still have to keep this up, don't we?
We certainly do, and the sooner they see sense and change their policies, the better, because they're all as bad as each other. They all have links with the fossil fuel industry, so we just need them to stop because they're insuring stranded assets. It's absolutely crazy. Why on earth would a business want to do that?
It continues to amaze us that people keep that up. And how long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been linked with XR since about 2020. I started my own group at the time, so I wanted to build up a network. I have a group called Your Planet Saving Ideas, which is all about trying to find ideas, because I'm sure that there's 8 billion of us on the planet. We're all capable of having ideas that could make a difference. So I like to try and encourage people to share their ideas. So I have this Facebook group and encourage people to post any ideas they have. It don't have to be any, it could be big, small, simple or complex, but they all need to be shared because there might be something out there that could make a big difference.
Well, that's a really interesting combination of sort of practical things that you can do and also...
It comes from individuals. So we all have a role to play by just taking these 6 simple shifts. That can be a way of making a difference as well.
That's fabulous. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Now, if you had one thing you wanted to say to folks back home, what would it be?
Come and join us. We can all make a difference. It's very empowering. Don't think that there's nothing you can do. We can all do something. So even if it's just signing a petition or just join a group, just support. And you can make a difference. We're all in this together. It's everybody's future. We just have to really just pull together. If we all pull together, we can make a huge difference. So just get engaged and join in.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the march.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so that's the beginning of people. I see a few more folks are joining us now, and I've got some more. We're back again. So hello, lovely to meet you. What's your name?
Anne-Marie.
Hello, Anne-Marie. So what brings you out today?
Oh, the fact that the fossil fuel companies are being paid out by the insurance companies when people who've had floods and fires can't get insurance, you know. And if it weren't for the insurance companies, they couldn't have new mines and new gas and pipelines and things like that. So they're helping to destroy our planet and they're profiting from it.
Yeah, that's a really interesting contradiction. Absolutely. And so here you are on the streets. Have you done this before?
Yes, quite a few times with the with the high-speed rail. I walked the Red Bull Trail, and I've been coming since 2019. Sort of found Roger Hallam at a time where I'd spent a couple of years sort of hearing bad news and pretty well crying every day without feeling like I could do anything about it. But activism is the antidote to depression. So, you know, the more you get involved, the less miserable you feel. You feel like you're doing something and you're in like-minded company. So, you know, that's I've been doing it since 2019 and I've come quite a lot. But coming from Wales, it's not easy, but I have some excellent hosts. So you can get hosts down in London, which make it possible.
That's great. I mean, I think sometimes it feels like people think that protest is all gloom and doom, but for you, it's been a hopeful act then.
Yes. I feel that there is a movement that more and more people lots of people are worried about the climate crisis. In fact, there's a lot of, you know, depression in the young people, but once they get active, they do feel more inspired and happy that you know, the numbers are swelling. Even though there's a small group here, there are other things going on as well. So, you know, all over the country, and you know, we're working together. And once we reach that, what was it? Roger Hallam said 3.5% of the population, the tipping point in social changes, then we'll get hurried action. Hopefully before the AMOC crashes.
That's brilliant. And you've got a bit of a costume on today, so we have a look with the camera at your costume here. You look like you're ready to go to the beach because the beach is coming to you, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Even in Wales.
Yeah, yes, and it's not just the small island countries that will. It's a very important thing. One of my daughters doesn't listen to the news at all because she finds it so depressing. She has little children who could be in their 30s and 40s when the floods start. But certainly, I mean, places like Fairborn, they're already uninsurable. Already people have tried to sell their houses and can't because they're one of the first places. Already people have tried to sell their houses and can't because they're one of the first places that are actually starting to flood even now.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, we're out here on today in the streets and you're doing what you can for it. So we appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. And we hope you have a good connecting protest with people.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you so much. So these things always take a little bit of time to kick off. People are gathering together. We can see over here that the main banners are coming together. It's raining, even though it wasn't supposed to rain today. And we've got here, let's just take a little look at this. Ensure our survival, not fossil fuels. Boy, I really like how that sums up the message. Because sometimes ensure our survival, what does that mean? But it's particularly aimed at fossil fuels. Would you like to tell us your name and tell us what brought you here?
I'm Jane, and I'm with Debs. We've come up from Cornwall to protest today because we're part of West Penwith XR and Transition and Sustainable Hell and all the other stuff that are trying to do good things.
So you're involved with a lot of different things.
A little bit, yeah.
That's wonderful. That's a long trip from Cornwall up here today. What was it in your heart that made you come out on this day?
Well, it's all about raising awareness and reducing our carbon use and getting that message out to Joe Blogs on the street, because it's all very scary now, isn't it, in terms of what's going to be happening in the future. And
the future's coming to meet us now, isn't it?
Yeah. Our elders are very good at low carbon life plastics. We had leaky Tupperwares.
Speaking on camera to us?
Not today.
Speaking on camera to us?
Not today. Sorry.
No camera today. That's absolutely fine. We also we have all different kinds of people who want to speak and don't, and that's fine. But you're here, and we're grateful for that. And I love your hat. So we're going to come over here. This is a very interesting.
It's very good.
Car soup. Tell me about this.
Car soup. We've all seen the floods and what happens. Cars float. So someone said car soup, and I thought that kind of said it, really, didn't it? It's disgustingly uninsurable. car soup, at what point will they suddenly say, oh, well, we can't insure all those cars? All those people start thinking longer term. Precautionary principle is what is supposed to to be run insurance, and they just don't seem to have gone for the precautionary principle.
Soup installation.
Yeah, this is the what we all see when we see a flood. We see the cars floating. It's one of the first things you notice is all the vehicles just take off, and sometimes the most awful thing is they still have a person in them, and then you think that must be terrifying.
And that's the power of water, that it literally can just wash big cars away.
It washes everything away. We've seen lorries, we've seen buses, and of course lots of cars. Cars go first because they're light. But it just feels like we need to pay more attention to how we live and give the message to the big the big powerful companies, the insurance companies, who need to talk to government and say we need to change, we need to stop drilling, they need to stop insurance, they need to make sure that they're future-proofing. They need to start with the precautionary principle, which is what insurers should be, underpin insurance, future-proofing for generations to come, because if not, we're not going to have a livable planet. The earth will be so despoiled, and insurance is really key in making sure that the things that are bad don't happen. Just because we can do it doesn't mean we should. Let's have some wisdom. So I think the elders try and have a bit of that.
It's wonderful to have the voice of the elders out.
Rise above the love of power. I believe that one fine day, I believe that one...
Just going to rehearse this one.
You're going to get the rehearsal, folks, but I'm sure it's going to be lovely.
Okay, so we've got basses, tenors here, alto, and soprano. Soprano is changing.
You're all seeing here the reality of what it's like to do singing on the streets, getting ourselves together. This is part of being a scrappy rebel activist group.
I'm changing, wanna we?